Hello, and welcome to Tawagoto Café, episode 7. For some reason, we are doing it live. Here with us is our guest. Not really our guest, but us two are the actual supposed hosts of this of this podcast. Here's Seele.
Hello.
Introduce yourself.
I decided to do this today live because I felt like it. And to be honest, I miss the boss environment. So hold on.
Do you have coffee or some other hot beverage on your end?
No.
Okay.
I prefer drinking cold drinks.
Ah, right. Oh yeah, you prefer your coffee cold and iced.
Yep.
Do you have that right now, though?
I have extremely dilute mugicha.
Oh, Mugicha. Okay, that counts. I have a chai, slightly less warm than 15 minutes ago, chai latte. And actually, we do have a Bose here. Not really here in this exact city, but more of there is a Bose coffee about 30 minutes by car from here, and we sometimes go there and take out some coffee. And yeah, every time we see it, it kind of just reminds you of this. So it has been a while. It has been a while since me and Seele have actually sat down for a proper, and we're not even doing it in person at this point. We're still stuck several hundreds of kilometers away from each other because of the living situations right now. But hey, we're doing it live.
I'm probably gonna return to the metro around January next year, but I don't know about you, so
yeah.
That's a big probably.
That's a big probably.
Most of UP is actually getting vaccinated already, so that's a plus.
We actually are
we
reaching a little bit of a high vaccination percentage in NCR already, so that's at least slightly. Wait, what's the word I'm trying to use? It's slightly not comforting because COVID, but it's slightly less
reassuring.
Yes, it's some form of assurance that there's no outbreak going on yet. But I don't know. Yet, yeah, that's the problem. So, well, we don't know how many weeks we can have it at this current rate, but we don't want to start our stream with some doom and gloom. So,
anyway, let me properly introduce myself, since viewers of your channel likely only know you.
Yeah, here's the thing. This is the first time you've ever been on this channel.
Yes, exactly. So, I'm Seele.
Mm-hmm.
I normally do not live in this side of the world. And by this side of the world, I mean Twitch.
You mean Twitch, yeah.
Instead, I normally reside in YouTube. And even then, I don't stream. I don't really upload videos or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Some people may recognize me as one of those translators from HoloLive production.
Which we can see now publicly because you've gone public.
I've been a translator for almost over 1.5 years already, but I've only gone public about it recently. So if you know what HoloLive production is, if you know what VTubers are, I know my way around the industry. But that's not what I want to talk about today.
Yeah, this is not the topic of the stream today. It might tangent there, but it's not the main topic of our conversation today.
I think that's not going to be the main topic because it might tangent to it, but due to my own restrictions
and things that you cannot say,
things I cannot say, actually, why don't I just tangent to it immediately? Since
okay.
Here's the thing. I want to sort of talk about sponsored content.
Okay, sponsored content
on stuff, and let's start with the fact that HoloLive occasionally does sponsored content, but we do it in such a way that if it's sponsored, we'll say it outright that it's sponsored.
Mm-hmm. Who has been sponsoring HoloLive talents recently?
Bushiroad, obviously.
Bushiroad, okay. So basically, they're plugging their IPs essentially.
Yeah, definitely. Not just plugging their IPs, it's like cross collaborating.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself is a form of sponsorship, which, which is, well, for the lack of a better term, it's not dubious. It's it's something.
It's
Gains
it's
money.
intra-industry because Bushiroad is also
Yeah.
an entertainment slash media company, and I mean the only extent of the collaborations I know between Bushiroad and Hololive Production are in D4DJ, which is an idol-based franchise started by Bushiroad, and they have collaborations through its mobile game, D4DJ Groovy Mix, which
You don't
has
you don't have to look far, to be honest. Just the this chick Suisei's latest first live,
yeah,
I think
Suisei's first live,
Stellar C, sponsor supported by Bushiro.
supported by Bushiroad. Yeah.
Yes. It's always in the title because we, we're fairly transparent on whether or not we have a sponsor on the stuff that we have.
Yeah.
And then you'd also see sometimes that that Shishiro Botan, for example, is directly sponsored by uh, makers of Call of Duty, for example,
Oh, really?
or other FPS. Depends on the sponsored content that she's
Wait,
making.
which Call of
Although,
Duty? If it's Warzone, then I guess it's the mobile company that makes it.
as far as I know, it has to be the FPS.
No, no. Well, here's the thing. They're all FPSs to some extent, but the developers for Warzone, the mobile game, are different from the other people who make the console-based and PC-based FPSs.
Console and
Console.
FP
Oh,
and
console.
PC.
So, uh,
Oh
Honshu.
no, no, no. Oh no, I think it's not. I think it's not COD per se. I think it was Battlefield. But anyway,
Oh,
I,
but Battlefield is
I don't think
Battlefield is the competing IP. It's made by Electronic Arts.
yeah, I don't play first-person shooters, so I can't really tell. But I know
Battlefield
that
is a
Botan
competing
has.
IP to COD.
But I know fairly well that Botan has sponsorships with uh, those those games
Okay.
because she is an avid player of those games, and I think, well, nah, I won't make that speculation since it might to a line.
Yeah,
But
let's not put any VTuber speculation here because we're not that kind of channel.
no. As in just a just simple industry speculation, not that kind of speculation.
Oh, industry speculation. Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know what's happening in Niji, for example. Like
Okay, okay.
I don't know how Apex streams work, whether they're sponsored or not. But
Uh, I actually forget who makes
I
Apex.
don't I don't think they are directly sponsored. But
So
anyways,
yeah, more
so
sponsored content from streams.
yeah, but yeah, usually when, for example, a VTuber plays games on stream, they bought that game, or if they didn't buy that game, they asked the company to give them money to buy that game. I don't know.
It's a company expense essentially.
It's company expense. It's not. It's advertising, but it's not sponsored advertising.
Oh,
Get the
okay.
drift.
Go on, go on, go on.
They just want to play the game. In fact, they have to get permissions to play the game.
Yeah, they have to get permissions to stream the game because normally you wouldn't be able to do that, I guess. Or
Yeah.
no, maybe monetize the content in such a way, like because the income levels generated by uh, VTubers or
Actually, let's step away from VTubers, streamers in
streamers,
general.
period. Okay.
Anyway, continue your line of thought because that applies generally, not just through VTubers.
I actually lost my train of thought actually just there.
No, because you're saying that the income flow
Okay,
generated by
so the income
game
flow, yeah,
streams.
there is. I do like to point out like VTubers specifically, or at least the very big company affiliated ones like Holo and EG, and because on Twitch, there's only, well, as evidenced by the recent Twitch leaks, which also dates this episode, but whatever, we're uploading it straight to YouTube anyway after this. Uh, is that very few creators actually do get are able to full time monetize their Twitch streams. If you say that, hey, maybe there's like a certain single digit percentage of all streamers who gain enough money from the platform to actually full time monetize it. Uh, Even through things like bits, which are this platform's equivalent of super chats or subscriptions or paid subscriptions. The functions of both YouTube streaming and Twitch streaming are very similar, at least to some extent. Although
Like bits
finding
versus super
finding
chats,
content on
etc.
Twitch is very different compared to finding content on YouTube. That's the big difference
Oh,
between them.
definitely. That's definitely the case. But
Eh,
then,
sorry, but then what?
so how does, because we're on the, okay, so let me mention actually what brought up this very episode, to be honest.
Mhm.
The thing is, so check mo nga lang yung ano, check what spurred me to introduce this topic.
Yeah, you
Okay,
messaged me out
so
of the blue with something today.
I linked two videos. Number one is last week tonight's video on sponsored content, which is primarily focusing on TV content.
Mhm.
And the second one is Tom Nicholas's series on YouTube propaganda, this time focusing on Veritasium. And have you tried to watch these videos?
I have watched both of them.
What do you think?
Okay. Sponsorships, especially on the YouTube side of things, are actually kind of so ever present that we've kind of entered an era where content creators are kind of not only just used to it, but kind of coexist in such a way that there is a, how to explain it, conversation is happening. Like I follow one of MatPat's head editors, Dan Seibert, on Twitch, and he does say something about, like, I do get some insight into the what goes behind the creation of the theory videos, and sponsorships, at least for his personal side of things, at least, is very interesting thing, because the culture for YouTubers, not just him, but in general, seem to go with this, like, success being equated with sponsorships. Like, you've made it when you've had to basically do an ad read for an insert mobile game here.
Yeah, the usual joke that once you've made Raid Shadow Legends as part of your brand, then you've made big bucks. At least
Yeah,
I've seen that kind of joke.
it would have been Raid Shadow Legends in the years past, but nowadays I don't think that's the case now.
Oh,
Because, like, the buzzwords nowadays are like being sponsored by MiHoYo and being paid to guess
bleh.
which.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the thing: it's not Genshin. It's not Genshin Impact.
It's Honk?
No, Tears of Themis.
Really?
Tears of Themis, which is their third biggest, not really third biggest, but more. This is the new IP they're pushing. It's an otome game.
Like, I know that Tears of Things is an otome game, but really?
Yeah, it's the trend nowadays is that it's either when you're already affiliated with, the chances are, if you're already playing or otherwise
Oh,
sponsoring,
right, okay.
yeah,
Okay, that makes
Genshin,
sense.
and then
So if
yeah.
you're either, well, actually, this is probably more statistically, don't quote me on this, but this is probably more statistically accurate for Genshin players than Honk players,
Mhm.
because Honkai players are more either there for the gay or for the titty.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. As opposed to Genshin players, which have a much more balanced demographic of people who are there for the gay, the titty, or the shot, or the ano, or the male gaze, or the or the male fan service.
Mhm.
Whatever male fan service there is, because there's not really much male fan service there to begin with, other than
Yeah, that's another discussion for
that's
another
not
day.
yeah, that's not day.
Uh, but specifically, Google Play, the platform. Uh, Whenever it's Western YouTubers, and then who notice that these YouTubers are not people who play any of MiHoYo's IPs. So basically, what usually happens with them is they get sponsored by specifically Google, not MiHoYo.
Okay,
It's
that's
Google
interesting.
Play. Um, so this
How much
also,
money is MiHoYo pouring into Google Play, into Google just to?
yeah, I actually don't know because it's either well, for ads at least, the trend seems to be that it's promoting either one of two games. It's either you're promoting Genshin, Google is promoting Genshin, or Google is promoting Pokemon Unite.
Okay.
There is
Are those?
another specific mobile game that is very hot for mobile sponsorships, but they don't necessarily advertise directly. That's Mobile Legends. Mobile Legends is its own thing entirely, so they don't go through Google. So that's essentially
Okay.
what's going. So that's my insight on ad sponsorships for at least entertainment. For everything else, that's another different thing.
Hindi, kasi let's backtrack a bit. Let's backtrack a bit to how were ads in general done like a decade ago,
Hmm.
back when cable was still
When
cable
cable was
and
still a
TV
thing.
were still cable and TV were still big things. I mean, they probably it since you'll see there might be a pattern that we can draw here because back then you had a 30-minute to an hour show, for example. Like let's say you're watching a cartoon.
Hmm.
Let's say you're on Konami. You're watching some anime. You're watching some cartoon. And then every 5 minutes, you'd get bombarded with an ad break. If you're lucky and you're watching some anime, every 15 minutes, you'd get an ad break. And that's essentially where all the con- all the ads were. There would be product placement, as as actually shown in Tom Scott's video. There will be there will be product placement sometimes, but more often than not, especially with TV cycle, you will not know whether or not it's an advert. But nonetheless, there were still segments of a show where there are adverts, and you will know that it's an ad break immediately.
Hmm.
Like the show cuts at a very telegraphed time point that you know it's an ad break. You could go piss, you could go take a dump or whatever,
Hmm.
and then you come back for the show. So that's essentially how monetization works back then. And then now, it's slowly shifted. Why do you think that shift happened?
Because viewership went from offline to online with the emergence of new media.
Yeah, exactly. But that just because there's new media doesn't mean that you necessarily have to change your how you present your ads, how you present your sponsorships.
Hmm.
So why is it that somehow, as pointed out in both John Oliver's segment and in Tom Nicholas's series of YouTube propaganda, why is it that we've suddenly shifted from ad breaks to content integrated, folded uh, into the sponsorship?
Is this kind of a thing where the concept of the quote unquote influencer started becoming more of a thing?
Yes,
And
definitely.
the idea is that you're getting your source from people you trust, or something parasocial like that.
Yeah, I mean, well, practical reason to it. When you watch YouTube, you have control
You have somewhat
whether or
of a
not
control. You might have to repeat what you said again
to
because
skip
you
ad.
just glitched out for a second.
Okay, when you watch YouTube, you have some control whether or not you could skip an ad.
Okay, I guess that is kind of a thing, huh? The specific nature of how ads were implemented on the YouTube platform actually did change over time.
Yeah,
It
but
started to be OBBs, like ads ran before the video and only then,
yeah,
and then YouTube started experimenting with mid-roll ads, and later they started experimenting with unskippable ads, and then later on, big enough creators now have the freedom to insert mid-roll ads specifically at predetermined points, so that creators can now have control over the structuring of their content. So it's actually kind of a little bit of a return
it's a return to TV.
to the TV style of things. So it is kind of full circle a little bit like that. But at the same time, so the two major sources of like ad breaks is either you integrate it into the content directly through sponsored content, or you run mid-roll ads.
Now,
And
actually,
the thing
here's what
about mid-roll
happened.
ads is that they're not as profitable as sponsored content.
Yeah, exactly. Like the thing is, kasi with mid-roll ads, for example, or pre-roll ads or post-roll ads, is that even in the era of cable TV, people could still skip over it.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense that, okay, it's ad break, that means it's piss break, or I'm going to look over my phone, or I'm going to do something else while the ads are rolling. We're not really paying attention to the ad itself. But in the era where creators now realize that they can integrate their sponsored content, their sponsorships into the content, this leads to much more unavoidable advertising. Like you could be watching an advert and you don't know it. Back in the era of TV, it's sort of cheesy in a sense that you would be able to see or telegraph whether or not something is an advert. Well, if you're at least aware of the practices back then.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, as media becomes way more personalized, let's say, like as media becomes more personalized, you start catering you start catering to your own interests when watching media, and therefore there's also an implicit trust that you build with the media that you're watching, as opposed to just watching it on TV and then thinking that, okay, I don't really have much of a choice because this is what's on. Even with cable, for example,
Yeah.
granted, really think much of I can't really compare my experiences that well because the last time I watched cable was when I was a kid and I consume anything back then. So my reference point back then doesn't really compare to my reference point now, where I could see more of the nuances. But nonetheless,
Yeah. So
uh,
so here, Taste Like Coke actually has commented a bit about how viewer controls can possibly still be a thing of somewhat control,
yeah,
where
I mean, I frequently skip ads all the time, even if integrated into the content. But the problem then becomes, what if the entire video poses as, like, let's say, for example, the problem with Veritasium,
that
or
specific
sometimes with
Veritasium
John
video.
Harris, or sometims with John Harris, or even sometimes Vsauce at one point, where they present themselves as edutainment and as science, like either scientific or uh, educational content.
I even actually saw like Hank Green's SciShow was actually even was implicated in one of these. So
Yeah, even Adam Lucia, well, you
the
know,
Adam Ragusa example I showed you earlier.
yeah, yeah, they're required to put sponsored stream on the video, but that's also another problem. You can put sponsored stream on the video, you have to, but do you remember it's sponsored as you're watching the video?
If the construction is exactly the same as a typical video of theirs, the only thing that will tip you off is if you're one already familiar with the product and know that yeah, it's a plug, or two, the tone is critically important actually for determining whether a thing is sponsored or not, because ad reads are very strict things, and advertisers can pay you to say very incredibly specific stuff.
Yeah, Veritasium said the car video was sponsored. That's true. But the thing is, the way he presented it was still fairly chilly.
Yeah, it was the tone. It was actually the tone that kind of tipped off the viewers.
And that's going to be a problem moving forward with regards to sponsored content. Because the thing is, if you brand your channel to be one thing, like, for example, okay, so this is actually more of a problem in educational or entertainment style channels, simply because they have to present themselves in a way that tells that is on brand in a sense. Veritasium is very much well known, or at least assumed to be known by most people as presenting facts and general, and you could generally make your own judgments based off that. But the feel that at least quite a few people got from that car video was that Veritasium was very much chilling on the concept of driverless cars, which is okay. He can have that viewpoint, but it's not good to omit the facts. And actually, here, while this is a problem in the entertainment scene in general and the science video channels, I do feel that they have a fairly civil conversation about it, which is somewhat refreshing. Like, I've seen the comment section, and like, well, the comment sections generally show disappointment. It's not outright slander. Just okay, we differ on some opinions here and there, but otherwise, we, uh, we keep things civil here. Although it's still a problem. It's still definitely a problem.
In the comments section of the Adam Ragusa video that I linked you earlier, the one that's about multivitamin supplements,
Yeah,
people, that comment section to me felt like it was signaling a form of like betrayal of trust in some ways. That like you're supposed to be a journalist, Adam. So why are you hawking what is obviously company and product talking points without the rigor that we usually expect from your videos?
I think that's an
It's not even that the ad reading is a problem, because Adam Ragusa is actually very well known for the his ad reads on the
yeah.
normal videos.
He integrates them very well.
So it's less of a problem with the ad read specifically, but how it's presented and how it conveniently leaves out any point of criticism about the product or products similar to it.
Yeah,
Which is kind of
since
a, if you notice, the talking point for the Tom Nicholas video, specifically talking about the Veritasium and like the other the Waymo the collaboration with the other YouTubers, was that it's not the things that were said, it's the things that were not said
Yeah,
that are concerning. And the almost flippant attitude in which the advertiser can tell you to do not say this. So it's the things that they
that
don't
that,
want you to
that
say are
that's
more harmful than things that they do want you
that
to
is
say.
very much the caveat of sponsored content. In that, when you have sponsored content, they have an editorial say on what the kind of content you would be presenting to your audience, which is frankly, I think, something to push back for, push back against.
I don't know how. Well, I don't really know a lot of these content creators, so it's more of how exactly does the pushback happen?
You just simply say that if I, uh, well, it's not really simple, but you say that, okay, you want me to not say this part of the script. I say we keep it. And then you have a conversation, and then eventually you come to a certain agreement.
This
But
reminds me of Tom Scott's video on VPN advertisements.
yeah, actually,
In that specific Tom Scott video basically goes into what exactly a VPN is, what it is not, and what you should look out for when people advertise it.
yep,
I don't know if the framing of it being like, oh yeah, some company asked me to sponsor, and this is what I'm giving them, is kind of real. There is a lot of creative leeway over this, but to be fair, it's a YouTuber with a huge reach such as Tom Scott. I'm not going to question whether this person has received um, VPN requests for VPN companies to advertise their product, which is frankly inescapable in this kind of landscape.
true. Although, well, if there's one approach to sponsored content that I do like, which is I mentioned when naman in the ano, while we were thinking this up,
Mm-hmm.
it's Tokaku's approach to sponsored content.
Okay, so this is our first major tangent of today, and Seele, would you explain it? Because it's very likely that the people who are watching this are have no idea who Tokaku is.
Yeah, so Tokaku is a YouTuber. She frequently streams or talks about rhythm games and things tangential to rhythm games, such as, well, the controllers, the keyboards, for example, the tech behind it, and sometimes arcades as well. And
Mm-hmm.
Tokaku recently did a series on razors. So the Razer line of products, Razer keyboards, etc. And thing is, she was sponsored by those companies. Actually, I think she also did a DJ DAO breakdown of their controllers as well. I think the Phoenix one, I also watched that.
Yeah, I've
And
seen the Phoenix one, the YuanCon 2DX controller. Uh,
yeah, I've seen her breakdown of some of those videos. And honestly, it's sort of refreshing to see the fact that she's willing to say the cons from a personal standpoint, and the pros are also from a personal standpoint. So it's purely her own review
mhm.
of the product. And I think that kind of honesty is fairly important when doing sponsored content. Like, you don't have to compromise your integrity while you're sponsored. That's the thing.
And especially if there is a specific like conflict of interest that is involved.
Yeah.
Like I
Like,
know that I'm not sure this is still true, but Tokaku worked for YuanCon controllers at one point. Hello, Goro. And
hmm.
welcome to the first ever episode of Tawagoto Café that we're actually doing live.
But yeah, like, what I I don't actually mind sponsored content if they allow more nuance in discussion, because you will see that, okay, they're shilling a product, sure, but tell me the full picture.
It's a responsibility of reviewer channels. The more I have
If,
gotten introduced to content from, let's say, Linus Tech Tips, for example, they have a big editorial board, and I know that there's a bunch of people who get to have a say on things that actually get reviewed on the site and what people can say or can't say about them. But the thing is, they have a very not really strict, but more of a they have a more open approach to integrity than most, which is something that I find very interesting in the tech review world.
because they're mostly shells.
Yeah, they have to be mostly shills, so that means they actually have to properly educate their viewers on what this exactly means, and what the implications of the shills are sometimes.
Ah, that I didn't expect.
You can peg some of the short form review content, i.e., the Short Circuit channel, and some of the first early reactions videos, because let's face it, while Linus Tech Tips does have integrity, what it doesn't have is uh, it's not immune to using very uh, blatant clickbait tactics. So
I
that
mean, I think in these days that's more or less excusable.
there is no Discord. There is no Discord command for the chatbot. This is a private Discord for now. We're considering making this public eventually, but stay
Your
tuned for details.
choice.
Oh yeah, Goro is also like entering. Should we let him in?
Sure.
Okay. Goro has access to the admin section, so I think he should be able to get in. Wait, not really, really.
No,
That's that's so weird. Hold on a sec.
give him a role.
Yeah. I need to give Goro the role specifically for it. Yeah, go on. Keep talking about the what you've noticed about sponsored content.
Where was I?
Dokaku and reviews of and basically insights on written game content essentially.
Nah, I mean like, but regards kasi naman to Tokaku. I'm like, I appreciate the fact that she's fairly honest. She actually knows if there are any downsides to the products that she's reviewing, and regardless of the sponsors' opinions on their own product. So that's a good thing, at least in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Pero, teka, how did I tangent from Tokaku to general rhythm game?
Because you also mentioned a video about
Ah,
flow
okay,
state
okay.
and how you thought that it completely ignores things like arcade
Okay,
design
okay.
and the perspective of arcade rhythm game players.
Okay, okay. This is a very, very, it's a very off tangent thing. Kasi ito lang, let me read the, ano. So, okay, it when disclose conflict of interest. Okay. It came from your tangent eh. Since Tokaku, would you consider Tokaku as a rhythm game influencer? I would say yes.
Yeah.
She is, at least in my opinion, she has more nuance compared to Etienne, who is also another rhythm game influencer.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, kasi with regards to rhythm game influencers, I am more inclined to trust people who uh, have experience in both the home console slash mobile scene, and at the same time the arcade scene. Simply because rhythm games were very much, well, they weren't burst. in the arcade. However, they flourished in the arcade. And knowing that history is something that's fairly important if you're going to tackle rhythm games as a genre in general, talking about them in general. So ano pa bang ano ba?
Yeah. Do we know of anybody else who has been documenting, like, specifically things relating to the experience of playing arcade or otherwise mobile or console based rhythm games
If there are any, I would not be on the western side.
on the western side of things? For the
Because
for eastern side of things, we do know that we have people like Yashiro Kizuku, who is a VTuber, but the thing is that he is more
I
of
mean,
an
even this
actual variety streamer more than anything, and I don't think he makes content specifically about rhythm games, except for that one random video about what the heck is up with high speed.
no. I think if we're just talking general documentation, then you have the entire Asian side of people who just take videos and stream
Their games, yeah,
videos and their games and then upload them on. I think that's fairly significant on its own.
yeah.
Thing is, kasi here, I mean, there is a sort of culture to that, but I usually only ever saw that kind of culture flourish among Osu players, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And you know my opinions on Osu.
Yeah, also by itself would have been fine. It's just that I come to, like, not really resent, but come to be disappointed with how most rhythm game players actually see that as like the actual way all rhythm games should go forward.
Yeah, like there's the Osu generation, there's the uh, FNF
The
generation.
FNF generation, there's the Beat Saber generation, there's the
I think the Beat Saber generation is more tolerable, to be honest, but
I guess because like the Beat Saber generation is more knowing about the actual limitations of what can be modded into the game.
I mean, it doesn't stop them from making ridiculous charts, but yeah, that's
Well,
fine.
I don't own a VR console, so I don't know if any of those charts are like playable. But I don't think I'll be able to be on the remotely good enough skill level to even play them. So
I mean, I've only ever played Beat Saber with Raj, like in UP Town Center,
yeah,
and that was an experience, a tiring one. I could probably get into it if I had a VR setup, if I'd bothered to have a VR set, but I don't. Too expensive for me.
yeah, it's too expensive, and like it's more of a how do I how do I put this? I have how to explain this? There is a serious barrier to me in the form of Facebook and Oculus and their acquisition of Oculus.
Ah, okay.
And I think
Don't
that
you mean?
yeah
Don't
it
you mean meta?
yeah it's meta now. And I still don't feel like the technology is supposed to be there, right? It feels like there's a huge caveat to uh, to current VR technology, especially when Meta is running the show. It's like, yeah, no, I don't support that kind of ecosystem. So
That's fair.
I do feel like if it means that I have to invest in some other system, if it means I have more control over what I do in the VR space, because like the VR space it represents such a cutting edge technology that we are not internalizing that we are not currently able to internalize. Sorry, I'm choking on my drink. Live podcasting. All right, we're not able to internalize the full scale and consequences of. Is what I'm trying to say.
For me, I'm just not interested in VR in general.
Yeah. To me, VR devices are kind of like, hey, I can play X game here, but not much else. Like, I see
Like
that there's an appeal for things like VR chat and virtual worlds, but those feel like they're not there. We're not there yet.
for me, it's just not for me. That's my take on it. It's not for me.
Okay,
How did we
I
get
think
here?
I think we are. Somebody's at the door. We're actually able to introduce our next guest. Not really next guest, more of a regular member of the Teammate Dimension editorial board. Here we have Goro Canada. Can you speak?
Unmute yourself, Terrence.
はい、聞こえますか？
Hi, Kikoimas.
聞こえます。
はい、皆さん、もしもし。
Oh yeah, his entire
Yeah.
intro spiel is in Japanese.
このウィアブが、なんで日本語で、
なんで
はい、はい、
なんで
めちゃめちゃです
なんで日本語で自己紹介
自己紹介が
And that's all the Japanese I can say.
we didn't even get to hear it. Like the net kind of bugged out. I was like, hold on a sec. I'm gonna move this real quick so that we're able to
Yeah, fit him in.
to fit him in because
Oh wait, do you need my full Japanese introduction?
no, I thought you
when I'm
did it,
doing
but
the stream?
Go ahead.
it got cut off by the internet.
So, what? Sorry.
It got
Go
cut
ahead.
off by the internet.
Oh, so my voice is getting cut off by the internet.
Yeah, that was what happened earlier. Yeah.
How about now? Is it much better?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, so I guess I can do my Jiko Shokai.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Well,
I'll judge you.
how do I do this again? はい、緊張する。
はい、どうぞ。
はい、皆さんおはようございます。こんにちは、こんばんは。いつもゴロゴロするの、眠いしろくまさん、ゴロのことがねだゴロです。よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。
And that is all of my that's
ダ
all
ジャ
for
レ
the
は
Jiko
8 out of 10。
Sorry?
ダジャレは8 out of 10。
Dajare.
Well, that means I feel honored for an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
うまいかダサいか知らんけどね。
The translation, please. Yeah, my Japanese is very limited. Well, my vocabulary.
That's why I'm judging you.
I'm still at JLPT and 4.5.
Yeah, that's better than most of the population.
Yep.
Right.
I speak this as an N2 who can barely translate.
Even after 1.5 years of experience, essentially.
I mean, no translator in the right mind would say that they know how to translate.
Nihongo snub. Tastes like Ko says Nihongo snub.
Go learn.
Yep. I haven't studied for a while. I should really consider picking up another book and do my lessons.
I mean, Japanese learning is you either do it or you don't. And eventually, if you do it enough, you realize that, wow, I know how I can watch this streamer without subs.
Yeah.
You do it enough, and you're just like, I can watch this anime without subs anymore. And then you realize that once you try to actually translate that,
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
it in Japanese.
Yeah, it's that like you know what it's the problem of you know what it says, but how do you say it in English?
Yeah, that's every translator's problem.
Yeah, there are some Japanese phrases that lose their nuance when you're trying to translate them to English.
There are like 3 brains in the HoloLive channel, and we're all struggling.
Yeah, the internet is self-redacting whatever he has to say about the actual employees of the of the Hololive translating team.
Hello, shitty Philippine internet.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's fine.
should I turn on?
Anyway, where was I?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about the who gets to, for one, the document the rhythm game scene, and two, who makes actual observations about the experiences of players playing rhythm games.
Oh, we're talking about autogay.
Yeah, we're talking about
Yeah.
autogame.
I mean, you, as someone who's also been living in the auto for quite some time, what are your thoughts?
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
what
mean,
was?
the
I mean,
entire
Jeru,
theme of the show
hold on,
is
hold
in
on.
fact off topic, so whatever.
Yeah, the entire. I mean, this is how we drink coffee.
Yeah, this is how we drink coffee IRL. So
This
Oh
is how
damn,
we
I should
drink
have
coffee.
made some coffee then.
I don't want to drink coffee right now. My girlfriend would kill me.
this is the one thing that has changed between the last time you were on this show, Seele. You now have a kanojo. You have a girlfriend now.
Oh yeah, I've heard about. I've heard hints about that. So what's
You've
going
heard
on?
rumors.
Yeah, no. Let's not talk about that much of it because their relationship is private. So let's not. Let's keep the stuff out there. This is being streamed.
Oh right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. In a sense, like
And
I have a hard deadline of 12:30 before
ah,
either I or she pass out.
Okay.
So what were we on about again?
Oh yeah. So we were talking about specifically how the rhythm game scene has been documented by the Japanese and Asian side of things, and whether we actually have knowledge of people who actually do document the experiences of arcade players. And I actually just thought of an example, actually, that I couldn't think of an example until like literally just now, and then I realized that, oh yeah, wasn't there a time that we literally tried to crowdfund the Technica documentary?
There was a technical documentary.
Touching Sound, it was called. It was a crowdfunded movement for 1.5 hour documentary on DJ Max Technica that was to be shown in limited capacity in some cinemas. I don't know if it's out to the public yet, but it has been shown already. It's been produced.
Did you exist in the Technica scene, Goro?
no,
I
I
don't think
was
you did. You were in the DDR Supernova.
yeah, I was more into the DDR scene than I was in Technica. So I'm completely out of touch in that with that scene.
Yeah, but what about your experiences then? Available in
Eh,
souls. Don't say
We do
that
not
word.
mention the existence of that site in this.
Don't
available
say
in
bad
Can I
words.
mute this? uh, uh,
let
uh,
out the forbidden word.
bring out the what's it
That is not
called?
allowed.
We should really have ban word list by now.
I didn't expect our conversation will actually go in this direction. So now that this site has been mentioned, I now have to basically say a specific
Play
thing.
play that soundbite.
Oh right, it's in sound alerts, isn't it? Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah. Context. There. I'd rather not say it. Yeah. I'd rather just not say the context behind that soundbite.
Yeah.
We just
So,
that
Uh,
just the gist of it. Someone fucked up.
okay, go play it.
this
Enlighten
is
me.
it's just sound alerts. You know what this is actually, Seele. Where is it?
Right.
There we go. It's playing. Is it working though?
We
Oh,
are not
In case of an
hearing
There you go.
it.
investigation by
Oh, there
any
we go.
federal entity or similar, I do not have any involvement
We
with this
can't
group
hear.
or with the people in it.
Yeah, I
do
cannot
not
hear.
know how I
Probably
am
it's
here.
outputting on
Probably
Twitch, but
added
not
by a
on
third
your
party.
audio
I
monitor.
do not support any actions by the
Yeah,
members of this
It's
group.
outputting on Twitch, but yeah.
In case of an
In case
investigation.
of an investigation,
Whatever.
yeah, whatever. It's that one.
Oh, We have better versions of that on my side.
No,
Let me read them out.
but no, here's the thing. That soundbite was a text-to-speech recording of your version, Peng's version technically.
Ooh.
That's Peng's version of the copy pasta.
Well, then I will read the casual,
The casual
which is not
version.
really, well, it's not really the casual version. It's more of the Ubu version.
Oh no.
Oh no.
In case of an in case of an inspe- in case of an in case of an investigation by any federal entity or
Oh dear
similar,
God.
I do not I do not have any involvement with this group or other people in it. I do not know how I am here, probably hired by a third party. I do not support any actions of the members of this group.
And that's the
That's,
anime. Wow.
that was bad. Let me read the
Oh dear.
Tagalog version. Kung sakali may investigasyong isagawa ang kahit anong federal na institusyon ay wala akong kinalaman sa grupo ito sa mga taong kinabibilangan nito. Di ko alam kung paano ako napadpad dito. Pagkos sakali, isinali lang ako dito sa party. Wala akong itinatangkil sa magawain ng mga miyembro ng grupo.
And that has been the Exile server copy pasta, or
Do you want me to
the
read it
Music
in
Game Hell copy
Bisaya?
pasta. Alternatively,
Ay,
Do you want me to read it in
ay.
Bisaya? I don't know how to read. I don't know how to intonate in Bisaya though.
we've already tangented enough for this. But basically, oh yeah, what was the point of that being said? Yeah, it is available in the site which we do not speak of. But that being said, though,
What was in that? Ano,
yeah, I forgot
No,
what the content, what game would have been
damn
DDR.
you, George!
It was
Supernova?
oh wait, what are we talking about? The context behind the game
Yeah,
that was
we were
behind.
trying to discuss whether there were actually
Otoge
content
documentary.
creators that were specifically making content about the experiences of arcade rhythm gamers.
Yeah, Otoge.
Yeah.
Then Seele asked about
Yeah, I asked
my
you.
experience.
Yeah.
My experiences with DDR Supernova. Frankly, I don't have much experience because
I saw you frequently in Glorieta though.
yeah, but I was probably 16, 17 that time when I
Yeah.
became a Glorieta frequenter. So and pretty much a free what you call a freelancer. I was not affiliated to a specific group. So yeah, I just go to the arcade, play, and then leave. I did not know much people back then.
Okay.
I was
That's
also
over the
I did not
the
have much.
same until 2016. So I think that was around our first early. Like if you weren't any part of already an existing DDR group or a technical crew, then you're basically driftwood. But that didn't matter because
The the other one is this would pretty much age Sele and I, but we used to be in the Bimani style Pinoy forums.
but I was also in the B-Cell Filipino forums.
I was never on
you
Bimani
were.
style.
I was
Wait,
also
then maybe
there.
I was never on Bimani.
Wait, sorry, I was thinking about someone different.
I was never on Bimani style. That's one of the
Sorry,
few distinguishing
thinking
things I have.
I was thinking about someone else. But yeah, I was in the Bimani style Filipino thread. And yeah, it that was my
That was what?
for years back. That was my primary source for any Bimani news in the Philippines back then.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
where was the 2DX gold machine that used to be on Alabang Town Center? It got moved somewhere. What happened to the distorted machine in Quantum SM South Mall?
Yeah, South Mall. Because we have very different recollections of those events in the sense that I only knew of the existence of the 2DX gold machine when it was in time zone Trinoma Arena before it got
That was
closed.
such a long time ago.
Yeah, and then it got moved to Gateway.
My only memory with that 2DX Gold machine was in Alabang Town Center, and by then the screen already had looked like it had 20 different magnets stuck onto it.
Oh, that's interesting because I've never experienced the screen looking like that. Oh, really? Oh, maybe because it had like maybe there was like interference when it was still in ATC, because I don't
Yeah,
remember that the Gateway
times.
machine had like in magnetic burn spots.
They fixed it multiple times.
They probably
Oh,
just
okay.
they probably just replaced the monitor outright.
Yeah, and even then, they still use CRTs.
Yeah, they had still used CRTs. The one thing that was not
From my
salvageable though was the keys for the cab that eventually found its way into SM Calamba, the distorted cab.
the distorted cab, I managed to get to it, played it a few times back then, but it was practically unplayable.
I was already unplayable by that time,
Yeah,
because when I played it, key five was broken, and seven
the
also fired one, and vice versa.
yeah. Speaking of which, though, do you think it's about time that the PH has a written has a I wouldn't say a written history. Do you think it's about time that the PH have a history of arcade play about it eventually, like
This is an
encoded in a
idea
video,
that
That's an
me and Seele
idea.
have. Sorry, go on, Goro.
like we've been bouncing about it for some time now. What do you
Yeah, let's hear Goro's
think?
opinion about it, because that's something that me and Seele have already talked about lots of times.
Are you talking about having a documentary of the Philippine Otoge community?
Of sorts, yes.
Sort of.
Yeah. Actually, not bad. We have specific eras for it.
Mhm.
Firstly, when BDR first came to the Philippines, because I'm pretty sure that's the era where a rhythm gaming scene started to thrive, being the only rhythm game that appeared that time. And then the Dark Ages, where Konami was Konami pretty much started EMUs, and a lot of the areas here got left out. The first revival, when Yubi came to Time Zone. The second Dark
All
Ages,
right,
which is around
the first revival.
the second Dark Ages, when X3 came out, and then we got left behind again by around
Yeah,
the year
okay.
2013 onwards. And then the revival around 2016, when Quantum struck a deal with Konami.
The
And
only
then
wait,
the
you
third Dark Ages.
I
is
won't call
now,
it a dark ages, to be honest.
or I don't know.
Yeah,
Wait, this might be more
dormancy.
affiliated for Casio more than it for more than you, Seele, but we are now entering the third umbral age of Filipino autogame.
I call it the ice ages, to be honest. We were just frozen.
Sorry, that was a random Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 14 reference.
I don't play FF14, only she does.
What is Final Fantasy? Is that edible?
Yeah,
Anyone want to
that
pull up
was
the
that was
copy
for
pasta?
Casio and Ralphinium and anybody else who hears this.
Anyone want to pull up the copy pasta?
No, I'm not doing the copy pasta for that one. The free trailer. Oh well, speaking of Ralphinium, he's here.
Oh dear. No.
Wait,
No,
Maria,
person man.
do it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So Yorha has said that that. Oh jeez.
Guys,
I beat you to Denryu. My Daisuke has a video.
Yeah. Somebody played the Daisuke button. So yeah. So Yorha was saying that the first Bimani Dark Age also coincided with the emergence of the big widespread emergence of Pump It Up in the Philippines, and
Oh yeah. Because DDR got stagnant here. PIU thrived,
PIU thrived
and
in the absence of
so,
DDR.
so did Just Dance and Dance Central and those god awful pirated machines.
Yeah, let's not beat around the bush. Those are illegal machines.
And
Re-rave.
Re-Rave.
We had
I don't know.
how many units of re-rave did we actually have? Two?
I think two.
Exceed.
I
Yes,
think two.
I have seen Exceed. Yeah, Pump It Up Exceed. Yeah, that would have been like the oldest iteration model probably. We also got. I know that MOA had an Intergroove cabinet
Yeah,
at some point.
Time Zone Arena. I remember that one. The intergroup cabinet. It was, I think, modified Supernova 2 cab. Because before it was ITG 2, it used to be a DDR Supernova 2.
It got converted to ITG.
Yeah.
So yeah, Yorha
I don't know if it...
says 4 units of re-rave, Trinoma, Gateway, Mega Mall, Alabang Town Center.
ATC.
It was a pretty interesting game, not gonna lie. Yeah. It was the first one. Like it had to be like the sacrificial game for touchscreen related games like Crossbeats, Rev, or Beatstream. Even though that also died.
Oh, speaking of touch-based games, we only had one here, Limelight, and then it died.
Yeah, no Reflect Beat Limelight.
That limelight
Yeah.
wasn't even well maintained. It was
Yeah.
going to die.
Yeah, it was sent here to die. It already arrived here in like really really bad condition anyway.
Yeah, we were the rhythm game graveyard back then.
Actually, wait, is that the reason why Time Zone was called the Rhythm Game Graveyard during like the second Dark Ages? Because that's what I've heard it then. Like,
Yeah, pretty much. The two UBit machines that came to Time Zone, the two copious machines, and they were in questionable conditions. One was good, the other was just horrible.
They were usable.
they were usable.
They were usable, but yeah,
We also had a
playability.
little bit of a oddity in Time Zone Trinoma, and I'm not sure if, or not Time Zone Trinoma, Time Zone Glorieta 4. And I'm not sure if we had any other units of this specific game. It was Mozark, made by a development
existed.
team that would soon become Rayark.
Oh, Mozart. I never got to experience that game. I was looking for that machine way back then. But
It
probably...
existed.
Oh geez, we have so many things that we can like talk about, and that's only the things I know, and we all know in this like this collective group of everybody here in the chat, and
And pretty much we're only talking about some notable ones. We're not even talking about the weird IGS rhythm games like what was it? Percussion something?
percussion. Yeah, it had songs licensed from Banya.
No.
Yeah, the weird IGS games that had Banya music in them.
Yeah. The only notable thing about the IGS rhythm games is the licensed songs and the janky UI.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the first appearance of Holy Knight and Saika, I think.
We had Mozart. One thing I remembered though, I think this was probably when I was around 12 or 13. Time Zone had 2 DDR machines. Well, one DDR machine and one dancing stage machine.
Dancing stage.
One was... Yeah, as in the first dancing stage. The one with the second mix interface.
Wait,
The
you
other
mean-
was DDR Extreme.
Was this like the European version of the DDR game?
Yes.
We had
Oh,
one of those things.
There, Time Zone had 2 DDR machines back then. One was DDR Extreme, and the other was a dancing stage knockoff. The European dancing stage. And I also recall a specific arcade. I cannot remember. Probably in Isetan. Did I say that? But there was a specific mall that my grandparents went to Christmas shopping one time. They included us. somewhere probably in Manila, but it had,
Isetan's particularly far though.
I forgot if it was
Maybe
Isetan
Lucky
or
Chinatown.
We also have to take
yeah,
into account
probably.
the random appearances of Beatmania, the 5Q versions.
Oh wait, regarding Beatmania, I'll get back to you on that one. But uh, what I
So
recall,
say Lumpia
the
the final.
specific, what I recall on the specific arcade, there was literally DDR machines next to each other, and I think they were all second mix.
There were how many of them?
3, 4.
Huh? They were
That's
all
like
second.
That's the Japanese style layout.
Hmm. I think that was pretty
That's
much at the
rare.
height of the DDR hype here.
Hmm.
Hmm.
We basically have to verify that with other people who actually have more of an idea of what was going on at the
Who
time.
existed back then.
Hmm. Yeah, pretty much you have to talk to some people in the DDRPH
Yeah,
community. Yeah.
the really old guard.
Oh,
Hmm.
right.
Because we do have people who are much older than us in DDR Philippines.
Yeah,
No,
the
no, no.
boomers.
Yeah, like that's what I'm. That's what I
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now,
Talking to
regarding
TTRPH isn't gonna be easy.
Yeah, it's not gonna be easy. But
regarding
that's off Steam
okay.
talk, Seele.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
talking to DDRPH peeps is not gonna be easy. Now,
Anyway,
Regarding
regarding
what?
Meatmania,
Okay.
what I recall is back in Quantum SM South Mall, they actually had two Beatmania cabinets. One was Beatmania Club Mix, which was in the normal cab. It's in the game zone thing that Quantum had back then, and
oh
one
yeah,
was
I remember that. I remember that.
and another one was inside Storyland itself, Beatmania Third Mix, a mini cab, where the turntable was the size of my palm. Yeah, it's a very tiny turntable.
Huh.
Oh, one more thing I recall, there was a Namco cab, DDR Namco cab inside Storyland as well. It's basically fourth mix console version fitted into a ghetto DDR machine. That's the best I can describe it. Yeah,
Okay.
pirated machines were a thing back then
Yeah, we've
for
definitely had
DDR.
our share of pirated versions. I know of the existence of what I like to call the Jindev machine, which is
Oh, oh god, the Jinder
the
machines.
Jindev machine, which
Uh,
the last of which I saw in Quantum SM Kalamba, which was
uh,
running DDRX2CS, the US version, the theme.
oh, there's a there's a bug uh in those machines. If you play on player 2 and switch the mode select,
Mhm.
you can actually switch the mode select there. At one time, I chose edit mode, and well, I got to play an unlimited number of stages.
Wait a minute.
You basically
Are
broke it because
those
of the knowledge of you knowing what how Stepmania works.
Yep,
wait? Those are the Stepmania skin. Oh god.
Yeah,
yep.
it's running Stepmania 3.9.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing. It pretty much stuck on step Mania 3.9, but then again, 5.0 was still in development back then.
Yeah, this was pre
I remember
Stepmania 5.
last I remember of those cabs, they were in Gateway. They were awkward to look at.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Like like I would be like, okay, Gateway's layout, the time zone gateway layout, right?
yeah,
So you come in from the side of the
of
and
the
then
of the snacks
so
counter.
of the
There's like a
snacks counter, and then
there's a very
like
narrow
this
hallway
narrow.
leading into the rest of because the entry hallway is all claw machines, and then once you get
Yeah,
past that, there's an atrium, and then you can get into the action. That's a very weird arcade layout.
yeah. So there's the narrow walkway with all the claw machines, and then the atrium section has that the bootleg Stepmania and the the Drum Mania. There's also Drum Mania on there, which had terrible pads. Well, actually, that Step Mania also had terrible pads. And then when you venture further into it, there behold your salvation, the Technica 3, and the 2DX Gold. And just seeing the Step Mania cap was a nice one because that was very blatant.
Oh, wait,
I don't
hold
even know
on.
how. I don't even know how they managed to make that deal.
Yeah,
Star.
yeah. By the time I got there, because I know that at some point that was a supernova cab, the first one.
It used to be a supernova. Then they turned it into a Step Mania.
It really was Stepmania cab, yeah.
Oh, wait, regarding the timeline, I believe we had 3 revivals. The first
Oh?
revival was when Sirius came to Philippines. The X
The
Sirius.
serious, okay.
Serious.
The serious one is a fairly sad point for me because I only started getting into arcades for real at the end phase of the serious of the serious of the serious industry revival. Because by the time it landed on riverbanks, it was dead,
Oh
practically dead.
dear. Oh dear.
Like there was this one arcade in Riverbanks, Marikina that housed two fairly two of the most important pieces of that being the Sirius machine and the Poppin machine.
Oh, Poppin.
Yeah, Poppin.
If I
Was that from
recall...
the Game Zone arcade as well?
Yes.
Oh, the Poppin Party Cab.
Yep.
Oh dear. If I
That was
recall, some
sad.
Quantum branches still had Poppin 2. SM Manila still had Poppin 2.
Had.
Had? Oh, it
Had.
got moved.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
I'm pretty sure it's not in SM Manila now. Although I have seen it there. I had seen it there back then.
Nah. The only reason that I actually got good at Poppin in Beatmania back then was when I was in high school. The arcade nearest me was in Quantum SM Sukat. It was just a jeepney ride. Um, they had their Beatmania the final. No, Beatmania Club Mix, and next to it was Poppin Music 5. Best days of my life. Or high school life.
You were in high school. I had to wait until
Don't call
since
it.
like since like during my during my day, I had to go from UP. Like if I wanted to play, either I went to from UP to Gateway just for the 2 or I went from UP to Riverbank, and that was basically like exploring the entirety of the Katunan area. So it's fairly interesting, at least from a personal perspective. But it was very sad as a rhythm gamer. Essentially, if you wanted to play the rhythm game play back then, you had to go out on a leg.
Golden leg, yeah.
Basically, make a pilgrimage.
Yeah,
I mean, that,
Ay,
that is
that's
what people call it then, didn't it? Wasn't it?
yeah,
Back
and
when the first cabinet to the X cabinet Copila was in
North.
North EDSA. Yeah, that was literally a pilgrimage for me from Parañaque to SM North.
Yeah. First it was the pilgrimage from south to Shang, to the quantum power station as the Shangri-La for the sound voltex.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would be, and then the 2DX, and then the Museka, and the Dance Evolution, and the Drew Beat cabs.
man, 2016 was a fun time.
2016 was
Yeah.
a wild year.
2016 was a wild year, definitely. as other stuff aside that we'd rather not talk
Yeah,
about.
let's not talk about some of it.
uh, regard, uh, I don't, we never did experience the Beatmania 2 machines, did we? The normal
I
cabs.
The five
I
keys, no.
experienced
No.
beating in the final.
No, Beatmania 2. It's basically
No,
before
we didn't.
Beatmania 2 DX. Yeah,
We never did. We never did.
yeah, we never did. It in Korea it was called Beat Stage, if I recall. Yeah, Beat Stage. It was basically Beatmania 2DX except with a smaller screen. The turntable is actually closer to the keyboard and there was no LED. There was no LED marquee.
Yeah, it was not deluxe.
The,
No one,
I when I
no one ever
oh,
calls. No one ever calls 2DX 2 deluxe anymore.
yeah, it's just 2DX. But comparing the Beatmania 2 cab and the 2DX cab, the only difference between the two, aside from the controller, is basically the LED marquee. All the controls are practically the same. It's like
Yeah,
you probably would have gotten the cabinets here cheaper using buying the two cabs, but well, Konami discontinued the cabs around third style, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, they by third style they adopted the uh, 2DX title instead of just being
2DX was
2.
standard by then.
Yeah.
The standard style, deluxe.
Speaking of mechanics changes, remember when Konami tried to change pop and music?
Two.
The Wonderland, the new Papa Music cabs.
Yeah, when they tried adding a
A
slider
slider.
or something.
Oh, yeah, that was
The
ridiculous.
Gyro 2020, 2019, 2020.
I forgot.
It was around the time they were also testing the new U-Beat cabs.
Yeah, the new U-Beat cabs got cancelled. They turned it into a phone app instead,
Yeah, they
and
tried to revive U-Beat Plus essentially.
yeah, and the new Poppin got
Oh,
scrapped as well because it deviated too much from normal play. And basically, I think they were just trying to imitate Shunitem.
they
I mean, they
probably
already
were.
did that with nostalgia.
Yeah, the thing is, the
When are we
buttons are
getting
small.
Tunithin?
Sorry?
The
When are
buttons
we
on
getting
the new pop and
Tunithin?
sorry, yeah, we are running over each other at this point. Seele, you first.
When are we getting Tunithin?
Yeah, here's the thing.
Oh,
Doesn't Singapore already have Tunidin International?
Actually, this is this is my this is from my other job because people who don't
Soon TM. Soon TM.
soon TM. We need to convince Quantum to get the superstar.
good
The
for the
superstar.
new UB cap to die. Buttons were too big.
They were
Yeah, buttons
larger.
were too big. Yeah, but they could
Agree.
have. Yeah. They added the specifications. One is that the cabinets were tilted at a weird angle. That's one.
Yeah.
The other is buttons too big. I
They should just
mean, I
redesign
don't
it.
have no. What they should just do instead is upgrade the hardware because they've been using the same hardware since the first UB.
The first UB, yeah.
Yeah, that's why the game is still running at 30 FPS.
Oh yeah. So I think the new game would be running on a 120 FPS screen
No, it was running at the 60 FPS screen.
at 60.
That's
Okay.
the only update.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
Hashtag Japanese technological progress.
yeah. Seilei's other job involves a certain mobile game company.
I mean, I could say it outright anyway. Wyro as well. DRK.
Yeah, Lowairo.
No,
Kasi
Wyro.
kasi Loiro. Because it's public. Like Seilei's name is in the credits to Archaea. You can look it up.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And like one of the things that we notice is that Superstar cuts a lot of the licenses for very good reason. You don't want to mess.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's expensive. So at least give us Superstar. Damn it. Quantum, please.
Truly,
Oh,
them
yes,
being
was,
here is gonna be like huge.
actually, I don't think so.
Oh,
I
really?
don't think it will be as huge as some of us may think. It's going to be big for us,
Yeah, but for casuals, maybe
but
not. Yeah,
I don't. One of the problems with Shunidem is maintenance.
because it's a
If you
capacity
have,
screen.
apart from that, like, see, you know how PH arcades operate.
Yeah, we have constant wear and tear coming from unsuspecting random damages to the machine by passing people who are passing by.
Yep.
Yeah, this is why in Japan the cabinets are in better conditions because there's actually a dedicated floor to them.
Yeah.
Aside from proper maintenance.
Also, the thing about those kind of spaces is that they're age gated. You have to show your ID in order to get into into some of those spaces, especially in Japan. Because if you
Yeah,
have
like I
Oh
had to
yeah.
show my passport when getting into SEGA.
yeah,
Like,
uh,
wow.
and also in Hong Kong.
Yeah, HK as well.
Oddly oddly enough they Tayogi, was it in Shinjuku? I went there one time late at night. They did not ask for an ID. Hello?
It depends on the location. It's not like universal for all arcades.
Oh okay. So
Yeah,
Taito probably
Some
it's
do.
likely not it's likely not universal. Like that, if you're out that late at night, then they probably assume you're an adult.
Yeah, yeah,
true.
something like that. Yeah, I just thought of something weird in how that's actually like baked into the 2DX lore as well, because Roots 26S has characters who are underage and who have to. That's why Daruma has his mask always, because he has to hide the fact that he's 13.
How did we get to 2PX lore?
No, that Goro and I discussed Roots 26S sometimes, so that's the
Oh yeah.
Okay.
AKA
2DX lore. Goli's
Golly
lore.
messing with his character. Golly messing
Golly,
with his character.
Anyway,
Golly
sorry,
2DX.
that's like a super tangent. The
Where were
the
we?
Maimai is already super instrumental in bringing casuals into the fold, and I think it's a good idea that Quantum decided to bring Maimai first.
I think
Yeah.
Maimai is also more casual friendly in general.
Yeah. My is
Since
casual friendly in general. And from the
since for
interface. Yeah.
the
Okay.
interface, the durability of the box,
The durability of the
it's
buttons.
the durability
Yep.
of the screen, perfect for the PC setting.
It's
Also the
designed to
fact
be banged on. Is essentially what it is.
also the fact that the machine looks like a washing machine.
The washing machines can take punishment.
Yeah, the thing is like this at least like rhythm game machines. If you think about it, we're on the inside. What does a normie? I feel weird saying that. What does a peace person who is not experienced with any form of rhythm game, when they see something like Ongeki, for example, what would you think their kind of reaction is to that game with three different kinds of controls?
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I was disgusted with all, not because of its control per se, but because of the fact that it was not hardened. And then I saw Apollo Master, and then I was pleased.
It was not hard enough.
Oh wait, another thing is, did the first my that arrived here have English UI,
No,
or was it in
That's about
Japanese?
no, it did not.
it. Did
It
not.
we SM Manila, I think, got the first generation what we call Blue Maimai.
Yeah,
Oh,
SM Manila got it, and then and even then, I'm not the person to talk regarding the flip. In
Note
fact, you might
that
have to bring in the Castite.
yeah. Uh and by the time that I actually started playing Maimai, it was already Maimai Orange. And Orange, by the time of the Orange update, when the cabs got updated in SM North, it already had English text. So it was updated to have like an English translation somewhere around between those times.
It was
Yeah.
definitely already in English by the time of Pink.
I think
2DX only got English
I have screenshots
translations.
to prove that the versions of Orange that we got were English.
What was it?
Since the first generation Maimai. That's interesting.
So
Ooh.
they already had intent to actually expand it overseas.
Yeah, yeah. Sega
So
has the
yeah,
foresight that Konami hasn't.
yeah. I mean, 2DX only got English version UIs right around Heroic Verse.
Rootage, diba? Wasn't Rootage the
Was it?
first with the switchable language selector or Heroic Verse?
I think it was Heroic Verse.
Heroic
Footage
Verse.
did not.
Oh yeah, it was Heroic
Footage,
Verse. Yeah, Heroic
yeah,
Verse.
yeah, Heroic Verse. When probably there were more significant number of cabs being imported to the US
Ah yes,
by round one.
by round one.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think that's when Konami just decided, okay, let's make English versions. Like, really, Konami? I mean, did you not learn from the program world itself?
Yeah, that's why I think that the resurgence of the pirate e-amusement network in the US at the time had resulted in round one directly acquiring DDR Ace.
I mean, it was also good
Uh,
PR. Like,
Because Ace
ever
was the
since event,
true DDR global release.
yeah,
yeah.
like Ace was the true DDR global, and then
Yeah,
it
it had
led
American
to,
license.
true American domination life.
Yeah, Kiss for Life.
But yeah, let's pretty
So,
much just say
like,
Konami. Good IPs, shitty
management.
practices.
Yeah, shitty practices, shitty management. Yeah, Chris for Life has 19 charts left in the 17 folder to MFC. That's crazy.
He will finish it by before April. That's my projection.
Before what?
April
April? Oh, okay.
next year to
Orca
be able.
Orca alone took 300 plus plays, and I don't think he still has London Sea yet. London Sea was such a morale breaker for Chris. But yeah, that aside, what else can we talk about? Because there's a bunch of things. We have a very big oddity that was specifically tested here in the form of the
Me-
Sound Voltex booth minicabs that Yoshitaka
Oh.
had to go overseas. The DJ Yoshitaka had to go
Actually,
overseas for.
actually, on the topic of the minicab, were they mobilized elsewhere?
Yeah, if I recall, it was specifically made for Southeast Asian
For Southeast Asian markets,
regions.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's offline, and the arcades that want to keep it operating will have to purchase some cards, I think, from Konami to keep the cabinets running.
Yeah.
Apparently, it runs on some weird credit system wherein every credit played will decrease some set number of credits it could play before it just locks up.
Mm.
The hell is Yoshitaka thinking? Well,
Yeah,
it's like
but
it's like a limited plays cabinet.
yeah,
That's
Oh, let's take that information with a grain of salt because that's not information that was officially confirmed unless it showed up in the technical specifications of Konami documents.
yeah.
yeah.
Like we don't have access to that.
One thing that we know though is that there are already offline kits for Routage out. Or
What do you
offline
mean?
versions of Routage.
Offline versions of Rootage. Official offline versions of Rootage.
Yeah.
Which ones?
Licenses.
The boost cabinets?
No. I mean, I think they were upgrade kits to make Routage offline.
Yeah,
Basically, it
Wait,
removes some
what?
licenses.
yeah. These are specifically for archival arcades because there are arcades out there that actually routinely
Okay.
swap to the X data around, and then yeah. So this arcade has, for example, we have this week. These are the versions that are booted up on this 2DX cabs. So this week we have 14, 15, 16, and 17. or something like that.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
because some of those arcades actually still do exist, and I think that's a good gesture that at least Konami is able to keep the offline versions running for those kinds of
Yeah.
arcades.
Because your other option is running a pirated server.
Uh, hmm. There is a lot
True.
of like legal gray area for that. Because that's like
Yeah.
super interesting because like the pirated servers for Pendual, for 2DX Pendual, the 22nd version of the game, were the beginning of something interesting in the US market specifically, because of those pirated servers, people were actually able to mess with the system data and translate all the event dialogue, making it the first attempt by fans to actually present that information and the UI of 2DX to the English speaking
And
audience.
And they did it
and
before Konami even tried.
yeah, and how does Konami repay the favor done by fans? Cease and desist orders.
Yeah, programmed Sun got shuttered essentially.
Oh, so that's why PSUN doesn't exist.
Yeah, PSUN doesn't exist anymore. It got replaced
It,
by Arcana, I think.
no, PSUN's UI is no longer active. Its backend is probably being run on extended life support under Arcana.
Yeah,
Because
it's probably
Spada can still connect to no 2013 DDR 2013 and X3 can still connect to it.
Okay.
I I believe okay, that is probably something I should not have mentioned.
Well,
by the way, none of
this is a
this.
very niche piece of information that only very few people can actually make use of. So
Yeah.
It's not
But
like
yeah,
I work for Konami anyway. I only work for Live the Loiro.
and Loiro.
yeah, pretty much Pisan as we know it is pretty much dead anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, it's been replaced with Arcana.
Mm.
Doesn't really matter
Arcana
much.
Arcana and some other servers. Pretty much everyone has their own servers now.
I mean,
Yeah.
me and Ralph use Asphyxia. So
Is this?
Speaking
Yeah. Let's kind of pivot away from this because I don't think we should be discussing this at length.
speaking of something related to this, uh remember back in maybe late 2019 how the old DDR versions from first to extreme were finally emulated on MAME?
the what?
The old DDR versions from first to extreme were finally properly emulated on MAME. There's actual music now.
Oh,
Yeah, because Konami, in their infinite knowledge, from third mix onwards, decided to use encrypted MP3s for the audio.
So
And
the
so it
decryption keys
couldn't,
were finally found essentially.
extreme
yeah,
DRM.
yeah. One is the decryption keys were finally found,
Unlocked.
and the other is they waited for the MP3 patents to expire.
Oh right, yeah.
Okay.
The MP3
And also,
patents.
now what happened recently was someone who worked on the emulation on MAME also forked PCSX2 to work on Python 2 games, which means DDR Supernova to Supernova 2, the Gitadora V games V2 V3 I think. I forgot at which point Gitadora switched to PC-based hardware. But yeah, most of those games are also emulated now. So pretty much, in DDR terms, we've covered the entire history from first mix up to Supernova 2. They're pretty much preserved at this point. The some games,
Good. It's a good thing that we have archival.
yeah, that's it. Because Konami will not bother remastering these games anyway.
That's true.
For archive. But yeah, that's so interesting that we have so much history that we can just like try and like research for this.
Probably way too much, actually. That's why I want to narrow this.
Yeah, we have to narrow it down because
Yeah. We see we have a lot of written games out now, and with that, so much history to cover.
I mean, just covering from 2016 is going to be a pain in the ass because even though I have a near complete collection
near complete
from
recollection
2016
of yeah, okay.
of everything
Yeah.
from 2016 onwards, because well, I was there. I
It's
don't
hard to
have
believe 26. Okay, go. I
like
don't have what.
I don't have. I can't say for the experience of everyone from what more from before 2016.
Yeah.
Oh dear. What's hard to believe is 2016 was 5 years ago.
Yes,
Yes.
I feel old now. When I
Yeah.
discovered when I saw those cabs wrapped up in bubble wrap back in March 15, 2016.
Yeah, that image alone was like
Like that tweet, that very tweet that I
that very
made,
tweet. Yeah, it's such
pretty
a
much was the the largest great ray of hope
yeah, it's like,
among the Pemani community.
yeah. I'll never forget that image actually. Like the bubble wrap cabinets with the marquee-less sound voltex. So it's a bare
The
cabinet with
Marquiless
no
Sound
decorations,
Voltex,
and
the
it's just like
Marquiless Sound Museka.
yeah, marquee-less music.
Oh
That
yeah,
is glory.
music. Uh, I have a few friends who are rhythm game casuals who actually like musica. My sister, who does not play rhythm games, actually liked how musica looked. And
Yeah.
then when I told them that
It's dead.
musica was dead, yeah,
They went sad. Right,
yep,
Barilla? Nasan ka na?
Yeah, Ralphinium says yeah, it was in fact the shit.
yeah. I mean,
Like Musica like this.
musica deserve better.
Anyway, Musica deserved better. Uh, it renovation should have been the actual first version of the game.
Actually, yeah. If you get, let's just pretty much say it. For most Bimani games, the actual playable versions are the 1.5s. DDR started at 1.5. 2DX, I think 2DX is 1.5. Beatmania 2 was the version 1.
Yeah, Beatmania 2 was the version 1. And it
Yeah,
had
Fair.
yeah.
2DX is the 1.5. So yeah, most of the Bimani that we know are the playable versions are
The
1.5s.
1.5s. DDR first mix was just what?
DDR DDR first mix is DDR 1.5, internet ranking version. There was an actual DDR 1.0, but that is considered lost media.
Wait, it's considered lost media?
Well, there is I think it was either in a train station or some museum. There exists the very first version of TDR, but sadly the data has not been dumped for preservation, so
Uh,
it will be considered lost media.
okay. So the
The
first
even more
version that we know
yeah
of is actually 1.5.
the even more lost media is DDR version 0, the log test version.
Yeah, the log test version.
It had Money by Raga Twins on it.
Hmm.
The data existed I think in 1.5, but I think it got dummied out
It got dummied out.
in the final build. There was another thing. This was considered lost media for a long time, but recently got dumped. Right around 573 emulation was being worked on. DDR Kids.
Yeah, there was that was also considered yeah. There was
That was
supposed to
considered
be a version
until
B.
until someone collecting arcade machines related to rhythm gaming dumped the data and sent it to the devs.
Hmm.
Uh, the only issue with it now though is in MAME it has sync issues, but I think that will be worked on eventually. I filed a report on the MAME testers main tester's site, and it seems it's not gonna be worked on for a while because no one's that interested. I mean, frankly, it's a shitty DDR version meant for kids who won't probably care much about how it looks. So yeah.
Yeah. D- just talking about like arcade experience alone, not even the actual history of like which games were here. Even if we just condense it to like the essentials of okay, this was the story of uh it Seele, your whatever you posted on chat got like censored out.
It's a link on my Twitter.
Oh,
Bemani PH.
here's the thing.
Day 2.
Send it to me, and I'll put it on the because links are automatically blocked out of the
Ayo!
Oh wait, who remembers Jaleco's stepping stage?
Jalico's stepping stage. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
that was in Enchanted Kingdom, I think. It was next to a DDR second mix back then. I think I was probably 8 or 9. Around that time, I saw that one in Enchanted Kingdom. It's in their food court. Next to
Hmm.
it was also another weird DJ like game by, I think, Jalico as well. Pretty much Jalico was riding the rhythm game hype train also.
Yeah.
So
March
stepping
16th.
stage, and some weird DJ game, and then yeah, DDR second mix.
Oops, sorry about that.
Yeah, I think my benchmark for there would be if there was a Paradise machine present, because that will definitely date it.
Yeah. Paradise because it was a bit older than maybe even like Dance Maniacs even. Dance
No,
Maniacs had like a really good like.
para oh yeah, Dance Maniacs. Dance Maniacs was released under the same hardware that DDR had, but yeah, motion controls. Motion
Motion controls.
controls. Infrared
Infrared
sensors. Sorry.
sensors, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Seele, here is your thing. It is now being displayed on the screen right now.
Yes.
Oh dear God, that is.
We are being raided.
What?
We are being
Magi.
raided. Welcome, Ormakus, and this is a special stream. We are doing
Ara.
the 7th episode of Tawagoto Café, the podcast, like live.
Ay, yabay.
So
Yep.
wait,
What?
people's faces are actually in this.
I mean, do you think I censor any faces when I take pictures?
Yeah, no.
Hi Arma, welcome to the cafe.
Welcome to the intersection of dimensions, the cafe.
Oh yeah, that's because I'm probably in another dimension in this lore.
In this lore, yeah. Goro is from another dimension in this lore.
Oh yeah, I think I should tell Silly about my
There's lore?
No, there's
No,
well
no, no,
for
jokingly.
yeah.
No,
I think my
the coincidence is
sorry.
that both me and Goro have themed our Twitch streams around the idea that we're in a cafe.
Oh, okay. Like the Anerbe.
Yeah, well, I've already told you about it. Mine's called the Green Room, and I don't know what Goro's cafe is called.
No, mine is pretty much just I'm stuck inside a computer, as you can see by my
The
retro
Windows
Windows
2000,
themes.
yeah, the Windows 2000 themes.
Yeah. So, I, as the polar bear there, is stuck inside the computer and using a human host of sorts to interact with the outside world.
No,
So that's why there's a camera there for overhead when I'm playing 2DX, or a body cam when I'm playing DDR.
okay, so since we
That's
have a bunch of like new viewers now, let's everybody introduce ourselves. Seele, you first, since you're
You
the
do
actual
it
head.
first.
No, me? Okay. So hello, I am Denryu. I am the owner of this channel and the one of the two founding members of Teammate Dimension. And this is the podcast me and Seele started back in 2019, and this is we are doing this session right now because Seele felt like it, and
Yeah.
we are basically just doing this live.
So basically, this. Okay, do I introduce myself or do I introduce the whole concept behind this?
Yeah, introduce the concept.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we do here is we talk. That's it.
Yeah, that's why it's called the nonsensical coffee shop talk.
It's
Like
pretty
we
much
started, like
it's pretty
we
much
start.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, we started like the early part of the stream talking about sponsored content and all of that, and then eventually, while looking up the, I was rambling on a few hours ago. It devolved into rhythm.
Into
So
like rhythm game talk, yeah.
we're rhythm games now. We're talking about rhythm games.
Yeah, because the
I have to
idea
introduce
earlier
myself.
was that we were discussing like Tokaku and like sponsored rhythm game content.
Anyway, do I have to introduce myself again?
Yeah, these people most likely don't know you, so
Okay, so I post. I could, so I've posted my Twitter. I think you've posted my Twitter, right? So
yeah.
okay, fine. So I'm Seele. I generally don't stream at all. In fact, I don't really exist as a streamer. Oh,
He
there
is
it
a
is. That's my
professional.
Twitter. So if you check my Twitter, it says physicist, home cook, Arceus, J2E translator. And if you look at my portfolio, I do work for Hololive Production as a contracted translator. Apart from that, I also work for Lowiro as a support staff for them. And I generally just talk about the random stuff. I also dabble on cooking.
Yeah, and the occasional cooking photos. Okay.
I mean, I do a lot of stuff basically. I do way too much stuff than what I should be doing.
Because you're also a grad student essentially.
Yeah, I'm also a PhD. So I'm doing way too much stuff. Anyway,
Goro.
let
Do I do I need to
You
fine.
you don't have to do your whole spiel. Just introduce yourself briefly.
自己紹介はやめて
Hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Tawagoto Café. I'm Goro Canada. I have my own Twitch channel, which is displayed right there. And right now, I'm joining them as a guest.
Looking forward for cooking
Everyone's
next year. Oh geez, yeah. I mentioned this before to Goro, but people are actually looking forward to cooking streams from Goro and like actual like stuff. So we are working on that behind the scenes. Yeah. By the way, people in the chat, Ralphinium and Higune KM, they are also part of the editorial board for Teammate Dimension as well. So give them a bit of
What
a.
qualifies as our editorial board, to be honest?
Wait, Higune KM says, looking forward for your cooking next year.
Yeah, that's what I was
Who's,
saying.
who's he talking about, Seele or me?
You,
Oh
you
dear.
Goro,
All of
Oh
us.
dear. Yabay.
and possibly also Siri, and possibly also me because I'm also planning to do cooking next year as well.
And if you look at my Twitter, all I do is cook. At least all I post about on Twitter is
Yeah,
and cooking, I guess.
Or retweeting announcements about eroge.
Yeah.
then do you
There's
mind me
SEGA.
next year about the Valentine's chocolate
Yeah,
stream?
the Valentine's chocolate stream. Yeah.
What?
So, yeah, we're planning this ahead of time.
I
Oh, it is all
Kevin,
three of us.
I'm gonna be
Eh.
make chocolates on stream, tempering chocolate.
Well,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay,
yeah. Are you willing to actually
That's-
do that? Okay.
that's your soul.
That's gonna be an experience.
I expect you to break down like Claire Saffitz.
I already have my method set, so hopefully that doesn't happen.
Oh yeah, because
I just need to.
Sorry, go on. I think I misread my cue. Go on.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry, tempering
Since
chocolate.
my room, tempering chocolate. Since I already have since my room has an air conditioner, I just need to turn it up when I'm having the chocolate set, and hopefully set properly.
Wait,
Nah,
where have you
here's the
been
That's
thing.
tempering your chocolate?
outside
Outside,
the
like
room.
outside your room, the living room, essentially.
Here's the
Yeah,
trick, Goro. We all know that the pH weather gets a bit more agreeable at around January. Only make your chocolates then.
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's the plan.
Uh,
January, February.
yeah. Seele, have
Do
you
not.
returned the sous vide machine to
Ah,
that person yet?
the Carloy?
The Carloy, yeah.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
It's been machine. You see, it's easier. Yeah, tempering temperature, making macarons. Yeah,
I've
P-
definitely heard it. I wouldn't leave it in the cold, rotting along with my rice while I'm here for the past 2 years.
This like for what, Ormakus? The method of tempering chocolate?
oh, sorry, excuse me.
Temperature,
Tempering.
temperature is too sensitive, just like making macaroni.
I think Orma meant to say tempering chocolate is too sensitive, like making macarons. Hmm.
Okay.
No, no, no. I mean, the tempering temperature definitely fairly short window, fairly narrow window.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, in terms of the chocolates I've used, Malibu is more forgiving. Dark chocolate, its optimal temperature is 32, but I can go up to 34.
Oh, okay. So
That,
it's not that strict at least.
yeah, that or my thermometer is off by 2 degrees. I use a infrared thermometer
An infrared thermometer.
for,
Well,
That's not going to
yeah.
get you that well. That's not going to be a
Well, so
fairly
far,
that's not going to be fairly accurate if you're going to use infrared. It's probably
the
surface
gun type,
temperature at best.
oh
yeah,
yeah.
it's surface temperature.
Do you still remember the recipes that you made for the chocolates that you gave us, Goro?
Oh dear, oh dear. Do I remember? What was it that I gave you?
You gave me the the maraschino, the alcoholic chocolate.
Oh, the alcoholic chocolates.
You
Technically,
gave
I don't.
Seele the extra bitter ones.
Yeah, technically, I don't have recipes for these. Normally, I just mix up whatever is available in the kitchen,
Yeah.
and yeah, I just mix them up and
Yeah.
hope it goes well.
Okay, so that means it's gonna be like another improvised chocolate for next year then.
Basically, alchemy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but since I have good stock of alcoholic drinks right now, I mean, I have 3 bottles of honey whiskey of varying brands, some amaretto, Kahlua, and actually that's it.
So basically, alchemy, the good
Yeah,
alchemy.
I did not know you made
yeah.
chocolate for cream catty actually.
Oh yeah, I'm bringing some. I remember chocolate you made for Katips. Oh yeah, I remember. Last February 2020, before everything got shut down, I gave them chocolates.
Oh, okay, so Cat got chocolates from you. That's interesting. You actually managed to figure out how to do that. Hey, don't worry, your usual noob. This is like the usual kind of like atmosphere. This is the very rare opportunity that this chat has been so active. Anyway, let's plug.
Yeah.
Subscribe to Teammate Dimension. Like 5, 6 people working on this channel are here. Even though
And
I'm
only
actually
him.
the sole editor of the channel right now, I'm actually doing the videos. But the other people in this chat, Seele is the head of the editorial board, and
Quote unquote head.
quote unquote head and the co-founder, and Goro, Ralphinium, and Higune KM are also members of the editorial board as well.
Yeah, I just pop up from time to time.
We also have members of the editorial board that are not here, like Edelstein, for example.
Like, to be honest, I let Denryu do all of the tutorial processes, and I just
You just
so
approve.
it's
You just
actually
approve the final product.
yeah, like shonen.
Shonen, shonen.
Oh, wait.
Oh my
You know what?
goodness.
I'm glad things been doing well. Oh, Denryu.
Yep.
I don't know if you have this right now in playing on stream, but do you have background music for the cafe?
I
Not
do not
not right now. No.
Ah,
want to
yeah,
get some
that's
from Dova syndrome or something, or just make your own.
What?
yeah.
Do you want music to be playing right now? Because usually we don't.
No,
We don't usually do music for the talk streams.
Oh yeah. Okay, then yeah.
yeah,
Disregard
it's a,
I
disregard
can
my comment.
I can
we
put
don't usually add it, but the thing is, it does sound dead, so might as well.
Yeah, that's because I usually put music back in post. But the thing is, we're not gonna be putting putting this back in post. We're gonna be uploading this as is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like my only instructions for this Tawagoto was no edits.
Whatsoever.
Oh, so that's why this is live. Oh dear.
That's why
This
this
is
is live.
actually coming out before the what was supposed to be the planned episode 7.
this, this episode is Mecha Yabay.
Yeah, Mecha Yabai, yes.
Yeah, baka na ito mo kailan.
Well, maybe Yabai is not the right word. It's more of like Kapteni podcasto.
Like if I wanted to make it yabay, I would spill all of the corporate secrets that I have, but
But you're
I'm
also
not gonna
public.
do that.
Everybody actually knows your like employment profile. So that's
No,
actually
no, no,
gonna,
no, no, no. I mean the deeper stuff.
Basically being a T channel.
Yeah, and I don't want that kind of. I want to keep my job.
yeah.
I want to keep my jobs.
And I know
Can you-
this podcast has kind of entered, not really entered, but it has been a little bit of a T channel for a bit for the first 2 episodes of this podcast. But even then, I don't think like because of recent events, I don't think I'm gonna be doing that ever.
Wait, what tea? Like
We were
we,
discussing,
we,
but then again, for the first 2 episodes, we were discussing science and like
we weren't really teabagging as much as just stating the fact that
yeah, this is the state of
Stuff
things in yeah
happened.
stuff. It was stuff happened. It was things that were all in the past. But even then, I guess I don't know.
I mean, it's not really. This is more or less a. These are all more or less opinion pieces.
Yeah, this is actually the thing that we actually have to say every time we do this. That all of the information that we say here is like opinion. Like
Like, these
we're
are-
not saying that these are like factual or anything.
Because if I wanted to present it as fact, then I will actually do my research.
And
And that
actually,
will
at
take-
some point, that this
That
podcast
will
used
take
to
effort.
yeah put in the effort to research it, because at some point, when we were conceptualizing this podcast, we actually did consider a scripted format like last week tonight, but unfortunately, it ended up being like too much of an effort, and we wanted this.
You know
this
how
to
large of a team
basically-
last week tonight is?
Yeah. We wanted this series to basically remind us of the times that we hang out at Bo's Coffee in in SM North Eds at the time. So that's the chaos is like part and parcel of everything. And sorry about the people talking about people talking over each other, because that kind of does tend to happen in the in real life conversations. It's like super unfiltered and everything.
As I said, this is where we talk.
Yeah, this is where we talk.
Do we talk about? I don't know. How do we end the conversations? I don't know. In fact, it's already 1, and I can tell that Kasho is getting sleepy. So I must also die.
Okay. Oh, don't worry.
And-
That's just a thing he says. Don't worry. He's just going to sleep.
Oh, wait. Poka Crunch.
Coco
What do you mean?
Crunch?
Poka Crunch.
Huh. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but okay.
No, Poka Crunch.
Oh, Foga Crunch.
Ah, crunch.
Oh right, Foca Crunch. Yeah, that day when I uploaded Foca Crunch onto YouTube, I actually had to ask permission from Seele too. Can I meme this, please?
Look, here's the deal. When I make something that ridiculous, it's meant to be memed.
Okay, okay. So what I did was
I made it
upload
at
this
4
video called
a.m.
Foca Crunch. It was like 5 a.m. and Seele had just finished baking focaccia
Yeah.
and like
And
crunch noises.
the talking in chat message of Laura's stream, not at
Not at all. Because this is actually more of partially an experiment because we've never had live chat in any of the recording sessions of the podcast before, and
I mean,
maybe
here's the thing. Here's the thing then. How many of us have ever had this sort of talk at any given time in those?
2-3 times a week.
You? No. How many of us? Like you, me, and then
Yui.
Baria, I guess?
Yui.
Oh, Chris. Yeah. So 3. So
Um,
adding a few more people is gonna mess with the chat if anything. This sort of discussion lalavin.
has Yorha been present with us during these talks as well? Or maybe that was
I
the
have
one
no
time.
idea.
Maybe that was the one time we were at Karayama and because he was super late. We were like, oh, he was like 30 minutes late, and we was like, we have to do something about it. Like, how about this? Because he was so
The
late,
whole life.
I was like, I have the time to go outside to get signal and download all of the photos of the HoloLive talent girls just so that we could do the very impromptu that we literally just decided to do 1 hour and 30 minutes before the actual thing. The HoloLive guessing game video.
Yeah, I think that was one time that we did it.
And we never actually got around to making a sequel to it because pandemic happened.
I don't think we need to do that. I mean, it's so big.
We briefly considered if we were going to be doing Niji, but Niji is too big. Kahit Niji N lang maybe we'll do only Niji EN talents.
Nah, NGN is actually way too small as a sample.
How many ba? Is it
Yeah.
less than 20?
They're only like 9.
Okay, so it's not large enough yet then.
But yeah, like, it's 107. I don't have anything particularly the next. But
next-
you do.
Oh, you do?
No, you do.
Oh, yeah, me. Yeah. I do, yeah. Oh yeah, here is our sponsored content for the stream. It is now exactly
We're not-
23 hours before the 11/11 sale.
We're not doing that.
Oh, it's already November 10.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Yeah, sorry. Like as much as we actually do use Shopee in our day-to-day lives, we're not doing this bit. I actually don't.
Yeah, like, okay. Remember my stance about this. Then I don't mind you taking monetization, but if I'm involved, we do not take monetization.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, because it's better that we're unfiltered.
Yeah, it actually honestly the only thing that's like being monetized is this channel. Like Team
Yeah, like-
Dimension, the YouTube channel, is not going to enter the partner program, and we already decided this ahead of time, even as early as 2019 when we
I'm very
uploaded the very
firm
first
about that.
episode.
Do not get monetized.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much the only reason I have YouTube now is to interact with other furry VTubers.
with other furry YouTubers. Wait, YouTube?
VTubers.
Wait, YouTuber? Sorry, like they also like use YouTube as their primary platform.
Yeah. I don't.
I mean,
Okay.
it's sort of a thing already.
I keep forgetting that Twitch is actually the smaller platform in terms of VTubers.
It's a different demographic overall.
Yeah,
But that's
Twitch
I think
focuses on gaming.
yeah, we can talk about that some other time. Since that's another kind of worms that I'm actually
Yeah, that's another kind of worms. Yeah.
the divide between Twitch and YouTube in terms of audiences.
But yeah, aside from the bit that I tried to do earlier, we are not taking one. We are not doing sponsored content.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, I cannot get sponsored content. Period. At least
Because of your
in
position.
because of my position, yeah.
It will automatically be a conflict of interest.
Well, it will be a conflict of interest or Archaea.
Wait, I think your sentence got cut off.
What
It will be a conflict of interest. Something Archaea.
like it will be automatically a conflict of interest, like Archaea is involved,
For
or at least
whenever. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, or at least I would perceive it as a conflict of interest, and I will automatically.
Yeah, I was actually meaning to get some of the Archaea VODs from this channel to the YouTube, but I have fallen off of that for some reason.
I mean, your choice. Your It's your choice if you want to do that. I cannot get
I probably
involved.
won't because it's going to dilute the content, I think.
Fair.
But this thing we're doing is like this is going to go up as is, and like it's it's such unfiltered content, and I'm like, yeah, I think we're doing this as kind of a statement, actually, isn't it? that
Yeah.
that the reason that we're doing this live and just like capturing the moment as is because like this is kind of our attempt at trying to
Ad-libbing.
reduce the curation. I don't know, but don't we curate quite a bit when it comes to content that does make it on this channel?
It's more of. It's really more of. It's a curation in the sense that what we think about, at least during the day, ends up what we talk about at the night, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. And we do have like certain lines of conversations that we prefer not to go over, but that's about it.
Yep.
We have our own self-moderated filters based off our own interests and biases, and that's something that's inevitable, especially when discussing like this in a public.
In a public space, yeah.
Yeah, like in a really public space, because whenever we talk at a coffee shop, we don't care. That's the thing. So that's a difference between this sort of public forum, which is Twitch, and the other public forum, which is a coffee shop. Because in a coffee shop, not necessarily everyone
Not necessarily everyone is like there.
is
Yeah,
listening to what you're saying. To be honest, here we have like an audience of 9 people.
yeah. We have an audience of
That's
9 people.
significantly larger compared to an audience of 2 people having a conversation with one another.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can say this experiment was something. Was
Yeah,
it a success? I don't know. I don't really care.
As long as like you got that entire thing with the what you wanted to discuss about the sponsored content at least off of your chest at least.
It's still not yet off my chest, but it was never on my chest.
Oh, can
Wait,
you
what
give
happened?
me a
Something happened. For some reason they got timed out. I don't know. I don't know what that was about. I can't even see what the messages were supposed to be.
timed out
Yeah, one of our chatters got timed out for some reason.
conversation?
I don't know
Oh,
why.
it timed out
Deleted
stream
like
elements
six
for
messages. I don't know why.
important statements. Stream notice takes to me at least to show yourself to. Let me just DM it to you.
Oh yeah, you're a moderator on my channel. You could probably just send it to me.
I chat out. Eh? Looks like I can't send it for some reason. Yeah, I think I just screen it and then just
Yeah,
DM it over
just
on my
screenshot it.
Discord. Yeah. Okay, we got it here, and I'll just paste it Kikaku room or somewhere else.
Just in the Kikaku room is fine.
Alright. There we go.
It's the character limit. I think it's it was too long. I think the stream elements bot immediately
Thought it was a
thought
spam
it
bot.
was yeah. So I think I should adjust that for next time. But your usual
Ah.
noob says, looking at it now, that's quite the statement. Streaming on Twitch, I mean, it takes guts, to me at least, to show yourself to the world in such an unfiltered way, and that's a thing that actually does motivate
That's an
me to
appeal of
stream on
streamer.
here.
That's
Well.
an appeal of streamers in general.
Yeah,
Whether you stream on YouTube or on Twitch. And I think that's another conversation entirely about the motivation of the parasocial environment.
yeah. Parasocial. We were actually trying to workshop a few episodes
Why
of
do
that.
why do I have too many ideas to talk about?
Yeah, we actually did record something, but we had to scrap that episode.
This is why we have so many limited. This is why we limit our episodes of this podcast to begin with, because if you let me have free reign and coffee, I will not shut up.
Actually, that might be a good thing.
But the thing is, like,
No!
that's the entire reason this podcast exists. Is because
Yes,
Seele will
exactly.
not shut up about it.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
wait. Speaking of sponsored content, can you brief me on that one? I think I missed that part of the
Watch the
conversation.
VOD.
Or
Okay,
or
fine.
you have access to Tawagoto Café, the restricted channel in the Discord. Yes, you have.
Oh.
You can back read it because literally that's what we the conversation starting from what time?
Today.
From 3:06 p.m. today.
306. Okay, so you
That's
guys can
literally
talk
what it
about
is.
it.
That's literally what it is.
Okay. Okay, so you guys can talk while I just do some back reading.
Okay.
No. I'm practically done for the day.
We can
Oh.
continue the episode with just us if you want, but
Okay.
I think it's but the stream is already running for 2.5 hours, and this is already past the limit of the longest Tawagoto Cafe episode already.
No, the longest Tawagoto Cafe episode lasted 6
No.
or
Six?
7.
Oh, okay. Remember, episodes 1, 2, and 3 were recorded back to back to back.
Oh.
Yeah, you consider that as one session.
One session. The longest session started from 10 a.m. to 5 a.m.
No, 10 a.m. to 5 a.m. 10
So
p.m. to
10
5
p.m. to
a.m.
5 a.m. We cut that up into episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Ade de Cristo. That is long.
Yeah, and me and Ralphinium's episodes are not completely finished yet. Because there's 2 hours more of that content from the session from last year that I have not released yet.
This is why
So-
we don't talk that much.
So basically, you have a lot of backlog to work on.
Yeah, that episode was supposed to come out this month, essentially. So now it's gonna be episodes 8 and 9. Unless something like this happens again, in which case we're pushing the episode count another one.
Probably not anytime soon, to be honest. I just wanted to experiment a bit.
That's fine, actually. I like that we're able to do this today because, geez, it has been a very long time since we caught up, for sure.
Yeah, and also I've been stagnant with my content recently. I think I should try joining you guys here. Popping through Denryu's portable dimension thingy.
Oh yeah, have I shown? Okay, Seele.
You have showed me the
access.
portal.
You have the access to the virtual camera, right? So you will
I
be
can
able
see
to
it.
see this.
Yes.
Okay, good. So now, okay. Normally, well, here's the thing. Goro is here, technically. So, but I'm always going to be able to show you something like this. You probably won't be able to hear the sound though. But this also plays sound.
Oh.
Oh, it's showing my workout stream.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. Whenever I try to aim at Goro's dimension, it always cuts off the left side of the screen, which is where the gameplay is.
And it's fine. It's like a crystal ball.
It's like a crystal ball. I mean, that's kind of like, it's that slightly less mystical and more scientific. Is what this is.
If it's scientific, explain it to me. A physicist.
Oh my god, physicist.
Yeah, pretty much if you say something is scientific, you have to be able to explain it properly.
Yeah. Let me consult with Seele on that to how to properly actually express that in lore form.
Like hell am I going to explain to you exotic matter and all of that?
Here's the thing. I know out of character. This is Denryu out of character saying that I know that calling it another dimension is wrong because space is not another dimension.
I mean, you want me to get into the semantics? It is 1:20 a.m.
Yeah, no, okay. But here's the thing. I was planning to do this actually. Like, it's going to play, right? Hold on.
I don't feel like the judge did, so I wouldn't.
Hello, this is Tokaku. This is the person we were talking about.
That looks so stalkery.
This is the person we were talking about.
But most people have the game.
I don't know if that's
Anyone
actually
who,
like
dabbles
essentially the
in
problem
art
with this
and
with this
wants
kind
a
of
lot,
thing,
they
but
probably will be
it
better than
can
average player
theoretically do
because
this.
On the higher end.
Let's switch it off
It's
now.
really easy to be better.
Yeah,
than
that's so
average.
wrong.
Like, the average player can't play 3 stars.
It doesn't.
Let's switch it off.
Can I? Oh my god, I can't switch. Okay, it's finally off.
Speaking of dimensions, it reminded me about Christian.
Christian who?
Christian Weston Chandler. Or
They
they go by Christine Weston Chandler now.
Christina.
Yeah, that's a giant can of worms that span probably years worth of
Here's the thing, I
documents.
I have a feeling that Ralphinium actually knows who this person is.
Only one word, Sonichu.
Yeah, Sonichu, right? Yeah. Geez, that looks a lot more high definition than I thought it was gonna be. Yeah, it kind of feels like we were peeking behind the curtain too much.
Then this is why we don't make this technology.
Yeah. This is already operating off of some weird technology that I don't have. I actually don't know how to operate that much, and I think that's dangerous.
This is why you vet your. This is going to be another entire
Conversation.
technological innovation. Let's not go there.
Yeah, this is like some funny lore thing, but at the same time, it's just like, oh Jesus, actually has like real life implications too. Like, what if this portal actually did exist? Like, I know that this is a bit for the stream, right? That this is literally the excuse for the shout out layer, so that we can shout out like people who have been in the chat. I can, okay, but here's the thing: this person I can shout out because we've gotten this person's permission to do this. Blue Cubby, who is a very big supporter of our streams. That person now has a first badge, the first because this person was the first person to ever subscribe to this channel with a paid subscription. So that means you're special. You're one of the very first adopters to this, to whatever this is.
And hence they have a link to the portal. Make sure you have permissions.
Yeah, that's so weird. Okay, so anyway, I'm cutting this bit out of the actual YouTube upload.
Why?
What, really? You want this part in?
I
Why
said
not?
uncut, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
we are
this is
leaving
going
this
in.
part in. We are leaving this part in. It's more lore.
Hajiraito ka ng...
No, seriously, this exact portal is the reason why there's lore on this channel now.
I mean, it's cute and all, and that's good.
Oh,
But
jeez.
make sure this is a learning experience for you as well.
Yeah, this feels a little, okay. Maybe I should try and how do I do this? Yeah, I'm going to modify this portal next time, so that there's less of it, because right now it's powered up long enough so that it can view clips of after 30 seconds long. I'll probably shorten that.
Yeah. It
Make
needs
it
to
enough
be a
such that
little-
it's sufficient for a shout out or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
30
and this
seconds
is
might be
why-
too long. 30 seconds is too long. Maybe.
Yeah. And this is why I still have editorial powers in this channel.
Yeah, Seile's opinion is very important to this channel and to me.
Basically, Seele is the editor-in-chief.
Yeah, Seile's the editor-in-chief and the founder of this channel, by the way. So
I don't know how I am both the bokeh and the tsukomi in this system, but okay. I only become a tsukomi when it's like 1:25 a.m.
I'm usually the bokeh, right? In our podcast, I'm always usually the more clueless one out of both of us.
I mean, that's true, but I want to be the bokeh of all people.
But I mean, my cluelessness is based on me not knowing anything, and
I want to be the dumbass.
like it's usually you who comes to me with the ideas that okay, so here's the topic outline for today's Tawagoto. And I have to literally just research a few days before or on the day itself so that I actually know what to talk about.
That's true.
But it's just thing, we're technically too smart to be the bokeh, but so what happens is we're only doing this by like the relative side of things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way, this screen has background music, so you're not hearing it, but there is background music being played in the background.
I can hear a small hum.
That's just my fan.
Oh, I thought that was my air conditioning. Okay.
Yeah, I also have a fan here.
Anyway, I think that's enough for the day.
Yeah.
I think Cash was barely breathing now.
Oh, don't say it like that. Well, but again, we always say things like that in such a casual way anyway. Yeah, let's take our eyes off of this portal and like just go to the end screen, I guess, for now. She's about to pass away. Yeah,
I mean, I'm about to pass away. My air conditioning is not working anymore.
Oh, geez, okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna like turn down the music a little bit here. Okay. Thanks for everybody for joining in, and we'll see you whenever this happens again.
Not soon.
Well, not soon if Seele is involved.
Yeah, like go watch.
Go watch what?
Go watch this guy.
Oh yeah, thanks.
And this guy.
And Goro, yeah.
Yeah.
I can hold on a sec. I can make a recursive portal to this dimension, right? I can shout out myself, right? What happens if I do that? Oh, this is just the Metroid Dread stream. Okay, phase 1 done.
If people ever catch me streaming, it will only be to X.
It will only be to what?
It will only be to the X.
Where is it? What? It will only be to the X? Okay.
Yes.
To be fair, like yeah, we are planning on doing a BMS stream this weekend.
Yeah.
Because BMS of Fighters is coming out, yeah. Okay.
I think that's the only plug to do.
The thing
At
is,
least
like,
on my end.
Yeah, I think the plan for the 2DX stream or 2DX BMS stream was that you can also show up during the in Discord.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm going to do actually.
Okay. Well, there is that. Stay tuned for the raid target. Actually, who are we gonna be raiding? Is somebody online? Oh, actually, we are raiding. Oh yeah, let's raid somebody who is well known for even more extra tangents like we do. Like this guy tangents so much that we also, but we have a term for them. They're called tangerines. They are playing Tales of Berseria. This is Honey Cough Drop, and this is one of our Twitch friends. Let's go raid. Oh, I misspelled my name. I misspelled Honey's name. Anyway, raid Honey Cough Drop. Right.
I thought you forgot your own name.
Yeah, I said it wrong. Okay. This is the consequence of this being basically the on a Twitch setting. Anyway, this has been Tawagoto Café. This has been Denryu, Seele, and Goro Canada. See you soon. Sort of.
YOLO.
Yoloshiku. You
That's
always
how-
say it
that's
like
how
that.
we-
You always say it like that.
Um,
Yoloshiku.
I always say, actually, when I say it at work, it's much worse. Yoloshiko.
I'm not even gonna bother to explain that.
Yeah, don't. Anyway,
はい。
saraba.
はい。またね。バイバイ。